here. Trying to get the best angle. Sweet. All right. We are live. Just gonna pull up this other um, footage. So this is the jig I caught that giant trout on, but the difference was as um let's see if I can fix that. All right. So this is the jig I caught that trout on, and it has a big stout hook. I've caught a bunch of trout and salmon on this one, and it's perfect for live scope, especially in deep water because it's so deep. It's so heavy that you can throw it down and jig right in front of those fish's face. But I was using a different jig, the one I tied last live stream, and that hook bent out. So I switched to this hook, which has a stouter hook, and I got more fish immediately. So hopefully, um, tying a hair jig on this guy is going to be a lot different, because I can keep that fish pinned and not lose as much because I have a stout hook now. So hopefully that's a game changer. There we go. Okay, sweet. We got the everything ready to go. Awesome. I'm gonna make this chartreuse and white colored. Let me just go get some extra deer hair. All right, I'm gonna be tying real bucktail with this hair jig here. Um, this is a deer that was shot last year, um, and gonna be reusing its hair on its tail to see if I can catch a lot more lake trout. How's it going, everybody? Just joining the stream. Um, I caught a ginormous laker on this jig this week, and I caught it on a plastic, but I wanted to put some hair on it because I don't want that plastic falling off. A lot of times when we'd be chasing schools of salmon with live scope, a lot of times they'd bite the tail and it would pull the plastic down. So I don't want there to be any guessing of um, like, is my jig kind of out of place? Is everything screwed up with my bait? So I want to be sure to when I'm fishing, to always have that like lure in a presentable spot and not to have it like all warped and stuff like how a plastic can get pulled down and stuff like that. So let me just like that. Sweet. All right. So my first wrap's going to be with white string. I'm going to be doing this in white and chartreuse. That was working last week really well. Um, Gonna be going around the neck of this bait in white. And then we're gonna finish off with a white top and then going to be going to a chartreuse bottom. All right, this jig's kind of in the way of that piece of my tripod there. There we go. There we go. I'm just gonna slowly make a neck there. There we go. All right. So I just pulled a little bit of hair off of this deer tail here, and I'm just gonna be going over the top of it, just a little bit. And I don't take that much hair off of it at a time, and I'm gonna line up all the end pieces with the top of my jig there, and then I'm gonna do a couple slow wraps. One slow wrap here, another there, just to help me lock that in. And now I'm gonna be really hitting it with harder wraps. So it's not looking that great right now, just because I have just a little bit of hair on it. This jig head, um, I like it this big just because I can get down to the fish faster. Especially when I'm live scoping lake trout. I'm gonna be fishing in like 50 feet of water to anywhere from 50 to 60, especially this early in the season. They haven't really gone down to their deep holes yet, and yeah, I'm just gonna want that bigger weight because on live scope I can pick them up and cast to them, and when I cast to that spot, I can cast kind of right to that fish, and that lure's gonna get down there really quick. So that's why I like the heavier head. Has anybody got any fishing plans over the weekend? I think I'm gonna go trout fishing on Sunday. I might go turkey hunting a couple times this week to try to get a bird because I haven't got one this year. How's it going, Julia? How's it going, Larissa? All right, I'm gonna grab more long pieces from this tail, more than the tip, just because it's just longer hair. I want it to be a little bit bigger of a profile bait. A lot of times I'm mimicking, especially in my area, alewife. Alewife are shiners, and that's what the lake trout love to eat. They also like gobies, but especially if they're gonna be hunting a fish in the upper water column, it's gonna be an alewife or a shiner or like a shad. So or even like smelt and stuff on some of the northern lakes. So you want to make it mimic their forage as much as possible. And you can add a little bit of flash to your jig too, which is nice. How's it going? How's it going, Dez? The cousin crew. What is everybody's plans for the weekend? Anybody going outside, hunting, fishing, staying in? Hopefully everybody's weather is going to be good to them this long weekend. Oh, this string broke here. All right. Just adding the top pieces to this hair jig now. This is gonna be my favorite color combo I throw on these hair jigs too. I do like a white and a white chartreuse. More of a white chartreuse than anything. It's just a confidence color for me. It's bait that seems to always get bit for me. I did catch the fish I posted on my post today on a jig that was just like this one, just maybe with a little bit lightweight of a head and a worse hook. Damn, broke again. Man, when the yard or when the string breaks, it's so hard to get it back through the bobbin. Sometimes you gotta really finesse the string back through it, and it could be because a lot of things. I could be going too hard on the jig and or too hard on my wraps and stuff like that, or it could be too hard into the bobbin. So I could just flex my bobbin a little bit, and now I shouldn't get that happening anymore. Go over those old wraps, lock them up. Sweet. Got this tag end. And that should be enough wraps. All right. So I'm gonna go around this jig. It's a bigger hook, so I'm gonna have to cover this hook a lot better than I would to, let's say, a smaller streamer or something. So I'm gonna put a little bit of hair on either side, trying to go the same amount I put on the one side and kind of mimic it on the other side. Um, and I'm gonna use just a little bit of, I call it body hair, and just make this a little bit more full. There we go. Got my loose wraps adjusted to where I want it, and get some more stronger wraps on. All right, this is looking really good. Now let's get the other side and finish with our chartreuse. And this should be a fish catching machine. I'm gonna try to grab from the same part of the tail as the last one. I was a little bit further down, it's a little smaller here, and get the same amount of hair on each side just so it's looking symmetrical. It doesn't look all messed up. I'm going to be posting the video where I was kind of sharpshooting all these lake trout and salmon. I got a total of um, I got a total of 8 lake trout and 8 salmon as well. So I went 8 and 8 on lake trout and salmon using hair jigs and plastics. I ran out of hair jigs, so I had to make do with plastics, which plastics worked very good throughout the day. But I mean, I uh, I dropped down once and I got a few hits. My first few hits of the day were on hair jig, and I also like using hair jig, not just because I tied it, because I don't have to worry about this bait getting all messed up when a fish bites it and doesn't get hooked at first, and then sometimes like a salmon will hook it or will go for the bait, miss it, or just get the back end of your plastic, and it's going to pull that plastic down on your hook. And a lot of times that will, um, the salmon won't follow it after that because it just looks, it doesn't look right on uh, in the water. It's just going to swim a lot more funny after that bait gets pulled down, and water's going to drag off of it a lot more different. But when a fish misses a hair jig, you don't really have to worry about that as much. Because like if you tie your wraps good, then you shouldn't have any problem with this thing coming apart, and you should be able to use this on a bunch of fish. All right, getting that chartreuse little bit on the bottom here. There we go. This jig is going to need a lot of wraps around the neck just to hold all this hair in place. It's a lot of bucktail hair going to be on this jig, so using a lot of wraps plus a lot of glue is going to help me hold all this together so I can catch a whole bunch of fish on it and not have to worry about it ever coming undone or ever getting messed up too bad. I'd want the paint to fall off before this jig is retired. All right, I got a fair amount of wraps there. That's just gonna hold that jig in place very well. How's it going, Nate Potter? Thanks, buddy. I got a video coming out soon where I was using jigs like this, and I was catching salmon and lake trout. So make sure you guys subscribe and keep up to date with that. It's gonna be posted rather this weekend if I can get to it, or next, depending on how much fishing I do versus editing. All right, just wrapping up on this jig here. Who's the first best fisherman you know, buddy? Yeah, right, pal. All right, making sure I'm getting a lot of wraps on this. I don't want this to come undone at all. There we go. All right, just a few more wraps. Just to make sure this bait is absolutely locked in place, and I'm gonna clean up the head of this bait just to kind of make it look a little bit more clean. I'm battling a cold right now, so if I sound a little under the weather, that's why. Thanks, buddy. Just like McKenna. All right, and that broke. Shoot. I hope so. If he's not, I'm a retired fan then. All right. There we go. And I'm gonna finish this off with a few whip finishes. So it's a knot I like to do with all my jigs. Grab a good amount of line. This tool really helps it. And go around that other line a bunch of times. And it's basically just like a whole bunch of knots in a knot in itself. There we go. Don't want this to ever get wrapped up. There we go. Cut that close. And time for our head cement. This is shore fishing head cement. I use it for all my jigs. I haven't had anything come undone yet. So hopefully that stays the case. Oh, oh no. Power just cut out to this light here. There we go. All right, I'm gonna add some glue to the neck of the bait. Hopefully, I just like adding drops to the neck and letting that glue absorb into all the threads. And I know a lot of fly guys do not like putting that much glue on. I don't understand why. Maybe it's the same money. I'm not sure. But I add as much glue as possible. Might as well just absolutely let this bait, like, no, make sure there's no way this bait comes unwrapped when you're fishing. So I like to keep it safe that way. Well, and compared to other fly tying fly tires, I'm pretty new compared to them, but I'm still tied a little bit. So that's a fly. That's a fly I caught my 30-inch Laker, my personal best on, and yeah, it's a really good bait. Um, and hopefully I catch another couple big ones this weekend. Maybe if I go out on the boat. I don't know if I'd go for trout or bass, but I'm already going Sunday for trout, so I might just keep it simple with that. But yeah, great overall bait. Love the chartreuse on the bottom and looks great. I'm happy with it. All right, on to the next one. Might do a marabou jig. So bass season is right around the corner. Or well, not just right around the corner. Bass season is here for most of the U.S., but here in Canada, the early season for bass just ended. But if you're like me and live close to the border, you can just cross the border into the stateside on Lake Erie and fish bass anytime you want. So I'm pretty fortunate. I get to fish bass most of the year, but if you're not and you have to go up north. Sorry, but there is pike and walleye open now that these marabous can help you catch. Walleye love hair jigs year round too, so that's definitely these are definitely baits that you can use for any fish that is open anywhere in the world right now. So I'm gonna be using some black marabou jigs, and or black marabou hair. I'm gonna be tying some black marabou jigs. Some I'm gonna make one without any sparkle and one with. So I'm gonna change the color of my threads to a black, just to make the bait look a lot cleaner. Um, Black is also the probably year in year out uh, best color to throw on a marabou jig. And there's no doubt because it's like people throw different colored marabou jigs at certain times of year, and other people just kind of get caught up throwing um like browns and oranges and all different kind of colors. But if you want one that's going to be consistently good in clear water and catch more fish, I would recommend black. I've caught more fish on black than any other color. But during mayfly season, I'll switch up to maybe a brown or a green, just to mimic some of those bugs that are hatching. All right, so I'm gonna start this off with. This is a lot smaller bait, so I'm just gonna start off with some little wraps to start the neck. Cut that right there. And my goal for this bait is to make it as fluffy as possible. Um, the more hair I can put on this little tiny jig, the better, and just make it stand out in the water. Make it flow in the water nice and easy. So I'm going to be using a whole feather on each side. So I'm going to be using 4 whole feathers on this bait. And that just lets it kind of be more full in the water and have more of a body to it. And if you ever stop that bait, it's going to really like flash kind of right in the fish's face. Um, a lot of times guys will throw this as a follow-up bait for bass. And that has been really good. Like, it is the ultimate finesse bait when it comes to bass fishing, smallmouth, um, on the Great Lakes or any like clear body water, any fishery that has smallmouth in it. It's great up shallow, great if you have a kind of a heavier head down deep, but not too deep. I'd say this bait maxes out at like 15 foot of water. If you could use it in 20 with maybe like a 3/8 head, but I don't do that as much as that I kind of turn to a drop shot or something. But I really like throwing this in shallow rocky areas. So especially in the post spawn, when smallmouth are coming off beds, this bait works great and shallow. So smallmouth are probably going to be setting up uh, in close with they're going to be setting up in close when spawn's just done. So they're going to still be in that like 5 foot water, sometimes moving down to 10 foot, but um, they're going to be up eating bait in that 5 foot. Like sometimes I find them super shallow, and I'll throw this around for the pre-spawned the spawned out females, and they are putting on a feed bag just to make their weight back up from spawning. So how's it going, gals? All right, use a full feather for the top of that. I'm gonna use another full feather at the bottom here. Yeah, the way I work this bait too is I get a long cast out as long as I can with a more whippy rod and finessey rod. I'm pretty good. Just tying some bass jigs for the season, getting ready. Got to get rods ready too. How about you? You getting ready for fishing season at all, or have you been fishing at all? Yeah, what have you gone for? Or what do you like to target? All right, that looks good. Very large catfish. Nice. What kind of catfish? Like a North American species, or like a channel cat, or a flathead cat, bull bullhead? North, nice. That sounds like a lot of fun. What are you getting them on? Chicken liver? Or a lot of people use like the smelliest bait possible for catfish. Yeah, chicken liver. Nice. You do you ever put Kool-Aid on your chicken liver? I heard like a lot of people love using like red Kool-Aid on their chicken liver for catfish. I haven't done a lot of it myself, but I'd love to get into it. I got a really good catfishery for channel cats by my house in the Grand River, um, in the Dunville area. So I definitely should be taking more advantage on catfish. Maybe I'll make a video soon. I know a couple guys have offered to take me out. So what kind of setup do you have for catfish? Like you have a spinning rod, casting rod? Do you stick by a certain brand? Casting, nice. That's got to be a lot of fun fighting them on a bait caster reel. And do you know what species of catfish you got? All right, just adding a few more little touches to this jig, getting as much fur as I possibly can on. I like to cut a little off too, just to make sure everything's in line. There we go. Broke 3 rods because of catfish. Jeez. Yeah, they could be tricky sometimes if you're not careful. At least you caught him. It'd be a lot worse if he didn't. You ever fish for any bass or anything, or you like catfish and more like do you carp fish or mostly catfish? All right, just got one little bare side of this jig to do, and then I think it's pretty much done. See if I can adjust this camera at all. Fish for bass with mostly catfish. Just adjusting this camera. Jeez. What's your biggest bass that you've ever caught? 4 feet. Holy, that's a giant. The catfish is 4 feet. That's huge. What kind of catfish was it? There we go. These are my final wraps on this jig head. I'm not going to add any more colors to this one, Julia. This is the best color to use for smallmouth in Lake Erie. It's just a straight black. Sometimes I'll add a little flash to them. Maybe next one I'll add a little flash, but usually I keep it very simple with just a straight black. If I feel maybe the fish are even more pressured, I'll go to a little bit more of a like a tinsel, or maybe even I'll switch the colors to a brown. But 99% of the time, I'm fishing a straight black hair jig. That is a nice jig. So that's a really full jig. That's what exactly what I wanted there. Small head, small head catfish. I don't think I've ever heard of that. I'll have to look it up after the live stream. And that jig looks really nice. Okay, gonna finish up with a whip finish. Surgery a few years because of hook in your arm. Oh man. Guessing it was barb deep and there's nothing you could do. Jeez. What kind of hook was it? An octopus? If you were fishing catfish, or were you using something else for a different fish? All right. And there's my finished jig. Just need to add a little bit of head cement and I'm good. Octopus cheese. That sounds like it hurt. That's brutal. Add a little drop to my jig head here, and I'm just gonna slowly kind of massage it into the both sides of this thread. All right. Are you from Canada or the U.S.? All right. And that hair jig is all done. Canada, nice. Same. I'm from Ontario near Toronto, so I got a whole bunch. I got a lot of opportunities of cool different fish species, which is really nice. Especially in my area, it's there's a lot of chances at trophy fish everywhere, which is amazing. This is the jig I made last for lake trout and salmon. I was catching big salmon on jigs just like this. The last, my last video I filmed, that's gonna be coming out in a couple weeks. So make sure to subscribe to see it when it comes out. And yeah, it's gonna. I think it's my best video ever filmed. My rod. You want to see my bass setup? I've got a trout setup, casting, spinning. I got a lot of stuff. I use all Abu Garcia and Fenwick rods though too. So I just got a Abu Garcia Riva Rocket in, which is a really nice reel or spinning reel. That's gonna be used for drop shot fishing. Yeah, bass is just my favorite. All right, you know what? I'll grab a bass rod and I'll show you that. All right, I am back with couple rods. I'll get one more reel. I'll start off with my favorite casting rod that I've got. It is my flipping stick. So this is a Abu Garcia Zenon rod. One second. Oh no. Can you guys still hear me? Hey, can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? It's fixed. All right. Sweet. Let's try to seat this properly. Sorry, it just froze for a second there. I do have the two new rods. Awesome. All right. Is it all fixed? Yeah. All right. Nice. So this is the first rod. It's my flipping stick. This is the Abu Garcia Zenon. This is the rod I have most of my hands while flipping docks and stuff. This is the Zenon rod here. Let's see if I can get it better. Take the There's the blank of the rod there. 7'5", medium heavy. And I paired it up with a Abu Garcia rocket reel. And the reason I did that is because for fishing jigs, and specifically, I want to get that jig in and out of the boat as fast as possible. Here, I'll raise this camera up a little bit. Sweet. Um, yeah, I wanna make sure that jig comes back to me and down as quick as possible. Um, so fishing just flipping jig like this under docks. Uh, it's crucial in tournaments when I just need to move fast and cover a lot of water. So that's probably my favorite combo that I have on most of the time, just because I like throwing bass jigs. And my favorite spinning combo, um, I probably have nicer rods in general, but my favorite that I like to catch fish on is this guy. It's my Fenwick Elite. It is a 7.6 medium light fast. So it's super whippy, and I can really take these hair jigs, like the one I just tied here, and I can take this really small hook and cast it super far away from the boat, which is crucial when using this technique. Um, and I can cast over rock humps that I mark on my electronics, and yeah, I really like this rod. Mostly all these new or not mostly, all these new Fenwick rods that I have, even my Eagles, which is the lowest line of rod, I love. They're just amazing rods. You went winter fishing, ice fish? Awesome. What kind of fish was it? And the reel I pair up with that guy is a Abu Garcia winch, just to slow me down. So the winch is the slowest reel on the market, and I like that just because I I like that just because I could slow that jig down and it'd be really good. Crocodile ace fish. I've never heard of that one before. All right. I will look it up. Were you in Canada when you caught this? Yeah. My favorite region to fish in? Um, Honestly, near my house, I'm very lucky. Uh, where Lake Erie, I like to call Lake Erie home. So I would have to say Lake Erie is my favorite region or favorite like favorite spot to fish in Lake Erie. But I do love Lake Ontario. There's a lot of a variety of like trout species that I go for in there, and unless I'm up in the like Quinny area, then there's some really good bass too, and there's even some good bass to where I'm from. I'm from Hamilton, so Hamilton Harbor has some good fishing too, which uh, not a lot of people think it does, but there's some hidden gems in Hamilton Harbor, which is really good for fishing. I did see the ice fish, and to be honest, I you might have it confused with the yellow perch. Just because I say that is because the yellow perch has a lot of bars on it that that fish that you told me has on it too, and it's very easy to get those two mixed up. I did see the crocodile ice fish though. I have never seen it in the waters. Where is it? Where is it located? Yeah, it says the crocodile ice fish is located um more in the ocean, and that yellow perch, it looks just like it that you might be getting it confused with, like a perch. Um, the Churchill region. Oh, the Saskatchewan. I've never been to Saskatchewan, but I do have a YouTube series that's going to be coming out. Probably late June, maybe early July about Newfoundland. I'm going in May for brook trout and hopefully cod. Still need to book my cod got or charter, and I'm gonna be taking my GoPro down there. I'm gonna be filming a whole series, a bunch of videos on Newfoundland's fisheries. But I've never been to Saskatchewan. I'd love to. It looks like they have just absolute giant fish. Clayton Chick Outdoors fishes that a lot, and I love his channel, and I know a lot of those guys fish there. Bro Derek, Broderick. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I hope so. Where do you usually fish, and what do you like to fish for? You got a 7 footer. Wow. Jeez. What was 7 foot what? Type of gar? Yeah, those fish can get huge. So in my area of I fish a lot of Lake Erie, Turkey Point area, Long Point Bay. We have a lot of spotted gar, and I'm thinking I'm probably going to be doing a video eventually on spotted gar fishing, and I'll be tying the lures the fish for a gar out of paracord, which is really cool. Just because the gar eat it and they get their teeth tangled up in the knot of your bait, which is really cool. And yeah, we have a lot of the spotted gar around where I'm at, and I would love to film a video because when I'm bass fishing, they're everywhere. So I just got to get them to bite. They've hit topwater frogs a little bit, but I can never get their tiny mouths to get hooks on my topwater frog. That's how you got the hook stuck. That makes sense. They flip out when they get hooked. Yeah, so that New Brunswick trip's gonna drop uh in late June, early July, so make sure to subscribe to be the first one notified about that video. And also there's gonna be a video dropping hopefully by the end of this week. If not, I will get it done by I'll get it done by next weekend or next midweek. I'm gonna try to edit a lot of that this weekend. But there's a lot of footage to go through. We caught a ton of fish. Me and my buddy Levy on Lake Ontario. We were absolutely crushing lake trout and salmon, coho and Chinook salmon. So it was a lot of fun. Have a good one, gals. Thanks for joining the live stream, buddy. All right, I'm gonna finish up with this jig here. Let's see if you guys can see it better now. I need to raise this a little bit. There we go. There we go. Getting a couple wraps right there. Still got those two sides to fill in. I just to make this as puffy as possible. Has anybody got plans to head out fishing this weekend? Broderick, have you been fishing out this year yet? All right. Just finishing up another marabou jig. Again, this is a great bait for bass, especially after post spawn. No, season just started. Nice. What are you fishing for? Pike or walleye, or what are you targeting? I know walleye just opened, trout opened a couple weeks ago, in my area at least, and it's been a really exciting time of year to go fishing. Things are starting to open up again, and um, just waiting on bass to open in Canada for me, but I might go out a couple times on Buffalo, New York side and go for some smallmouth, pre-spawn smallmouth where they're still ginormous, big 6 pounders. Jack, nice. Where are you from? Saskatchewan, nice. Getting any big pike down there? I see a whole bunch of ice fishing videos on giant pike getting caught out there. I watch a lot of videos out of Saskatchewan. Like I think they're called Fishing Geeks and Clayton Chick Outdoors too is a common one around that area. Or a laker bite. You ever get on a big lake trout bite? I know Saskatchewan has a lot of lake trout. All right, finishing this last wrap. There we go. Sweet. Just making it neater going over all this extra fluff. Got a 10 or 12 pounder. Nice last year. Nice. That's a great fish. I got my biggest pike last year too. It was around 40 inches. Giant head on it. I have the whole video of it on my YouTube. The whole fight. It was about. It was in the fall time around. It's a little bit further down on my channel, but yeah, it was a pretty big one. That's a good fish. 10 or 12 pounds. It's a good one. What kind of lure did you get him on, or is it secret? All right, I'm gonna start my whip finish on this jig. Let's get rid of this hair here. I think this is gonna be the last jig of the night. All right, got a little predicament here. The string is kind of caught there. There we go. So this jig head was originally white, and I dunked it in a powder, kind of powder paint to dry it off, and it didn't really turn out as well as I thought it would. I should have just bought um, no secret silver spoon. Hey, that's all you need sometimes is just keep it with the classics. Spoons have caught me so many pike over the years. They're great. All right, I'm gonna add a little bit of head cement on it. These jigs here have caught me a couple 5 pound bass, which is always fun. One year I got 25 pounds for 5 fish on it. Uh, I absolutely, it was a tournament where I just needed some bigger bites, and fish were being really funny in the uh, top of the day. Sorry, I'm all congested. I'm fighting a cold right now. But in the midway through the day, they were being really finicky, so I had to switch to a um, more finessey presentation, and I switched up to a hair jig, and I got a 5 pounder, a four and a half, a high four, another 5 pounder. It was crazy. All right, and that's last jig of the night. I like the way both of these jigs turned out at the end of the day. Sweet. I just tied a jig like this. This would be good for pike and lake trout, even in Saskatchewan. Um, Big jig head like that. Um, and I was catching a lot of them on Lake Ontario this past weekend, and a lot of Chinooks and a lot of lake trout really like this color. So I'm excited to get back and use it again. All right, guys. I think that's it for this live stream. I hope you guys all really liked the live. I'll probably be going live again next weekend for the first time, and then I'm going to take a 2 week break. So I'm going to be in Newfoundland for 2 weeks. Uh, so next week I'm going to be live, and then when I hit 500 subscribers, I will be doing a giveaway. So you guys won't want to miss that. So make sure to subscribe to the channel, and yeah, there's gonna be some really cool stuff in the future. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. Catch a ton of fish, or um, get a nice bird this weekend. And yeah, have a good one, guys.